we're looking at some of the disturbing issues that are bedeviling Nigeria today. I am Gimba Umar, and it's just past 7 a.m. in the morning here in Nigeria, local time, and I'm being joined by Abdul Ghani Nasser. Nasser, thank you so much indeed for joining us. You belong, I don't know if I can qualify you as part of the Gen Z age bracket, but I believe that the Gen Zs, some people say that it's between the ages of 16 and 20. What do you think about that age bracket? Is it more than 16 to 20, or perhaps is it 16 to 25 for you to be classified as a Gen Z?
Good morning, Mr. Umar, and thanks for having me. I think the category of the Gen Z falling under the ages of 16, I can categorically tell you is 16 to 25 from my own observation. But the Gen Z generation has actually revolved over the time, and they've seen beyond the coast of what they are originally meant to have seen. Having said that,
Interesting, interesting. Okay, let's just get straight right into the crux of the matter, Nasiru. This planned strike, I'm sorry, protest rather. There seems to be so much strike in Nigeria now that every protest seems to be a strike. But this planned protest by the Gen Z is to take effect by 1st of August. That is crippling very quickly. Today's 22nd. So in just about 8 days, we should be seeing some snippets of that, for lack of a better word. The Gen Z themselves have itemized 10 items, one of which tops the list is the revert of the petroleum pump price of fuel, that's petrol, to 100 naira per liter. That is what they have on the list. What do you make of that? Is it possible, going by the turn and twists in time now, especially with this new administration of Bola Ahmed Tinubu, to achieve 100 naira per liter for petrol?
I think their quest sometimes might be unrealistic, but it's not far from something that realistic as well. What I mean by reverse present economic situation is a global thing, so I'm not seeing anything realistic about going to 100 naira per liter. But if they are asking for something, let's say reverting back to the old pump price, I think is not far-fetched from it, because the body language of the administration right about now is not something looking good. About the quest is going back to the whole. I haven't seen that with the reversal of the with the taking off of the subsidy, things are not promising and it's not looking good for them. So there's no cause for the government removing the subsidy at the first place. We are going to be falling at the ditch at which we are presently. So calling them to revert back to the whole to this price of 100 naira is not realistic. But I think the game has to start from holding the governors responsible and accountability for all the money they've received from the subsidy so far. Is not only holding the federal government accountability, but I see more of the protests going into different states and people asking their governors what have they been able to do. It's not by giving an handout oftentimes. It's about putting system in place. System is a working system, not by giving foods, bringing rice today. The last time I saw 20 trailers of rice going to each state, that will not pacify it. What they need is getting a working system where everybody is inclusive. You bring everybody on board, you take the subsidy off, you show us what you have made of the subsidy that you've removed. But with the look of things, look at the spendings. Bought vehicles for the legislative, but the presidency has already gotten a yacht. They are planning on getting a private jet if they've not gotten it already as we speak. So the body language of the government of the day is not cool. It's not cool. So I understand with the Gen Z, but having to come to the price of 100 naira is not realistic at this material time, I must confess.
So, Nasser, the root of this planned protests on August the 1st, some say it's July the 31st. I'm not really sure which date they are going with. Some believe that this is taking root from the experience seen across Kenya, in Nairobi, especially with President Ruto, and how the youth were able to reject that finance bill and coming to a point where Ruto was now forced to, sack his ministers. And just 2 days ago, he reappointed 11 in line with what the Gen Zs have been fighting for, that is. But looking at Nigeria, the situation, how would you liken the activities, or should I say the actions, of the president of Kenya, William Ruto, as to what President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the president of your country, is doing to, cushion the effects of that fuel subsidy removal, which you just alluded to?
Thank you very much. If you look at the Kenyan protests, there are peculiarities to nations. Our own, we have our peculiarity as well. But I'm not seeing our government as the listening type, most especially coming from the youth minister. By now, I had expected a youth minister to have been doing much of talking, much of media engagements, much of engagements with the youth base. But look at it. The reverse is the case. Everybody is just feeling cool, like nothing is happening. Let's wait for them. We meet them. They should be learning from what the NSAS has erupted to, and definitely they will know this is going to, if this should happen again, it's going to take a huge steps on the government of the day, and it's going to set them back. But as I earlier alluded this, I want the protest to go on in each and every state, and each of the sitting governors should be called to account for whatever they have earned and what is their plan going further. In changing cabinets is not necessarily here, as I've not seen much from this current situation in terms of engaging the youth, in terms of bringing a youth-friendly policies. There's policies somersaulted in all of their activities. There's no policy consistency. Look at the refinery, Dangote refineries. Look at what we have been hearing. This is a very laudable project that was supposed to cover the needs of bringing in fuel from foreign countries. But look at the sabotage the NNPC are planning to do. Well, I can say that is politics, because I never see this coming. If Dangote will have to travel, we sell to the US, and you have to bring it back from the US instead of having it from the local contents here, it's really a shady deal. I don't understand what the government, and Bola Ahmed Tinubu, having been a leader, he has to come and stand on his toe and engage his youth minister to engage this Gen Z and the entire nation on the needs, not to go on this strike, and give a policy consistency that will enable the youth to see that yes, we are moving, we are attaining to a greatness. Not like keeping quiet and saying you are calling the security chiefs to take charge. No, you are the commander in chief. You have to stand your ground and talk to the youth. Let them see hope. If it is called a renew hope, you have to lead by example, not by making a policy that will not favor the youth, that will not favor the entire populace. Now we're battling fuel. Now look at what the price of food is doing in the marketplace. Average Nigeria with 70,000 increments of the minimum wage, it is not good enough to do a driver's license and pay school fees from that salary every month. 70,000 naira is just a shame on their own. And the House of Rep coming to say they have reduced their salary for 6 months. That is a fallacy of the highest generation.
Do you not believe that these are steps that Mr. President has taken, as well as the legislators are taken, by slashing their salaries by 50% for the next 6 months? And then we had the release of those 20 trucks of rice to just about every other state, including the FCT. These are measures that the current government is taking. Also, they have this CNG gas-powered initiative, which will serve as a substitute to the use of petrol, as it were, for automobiles. And they also have this new the agricultural projects that they are embarking on to have over 2,000 tractors coming into Nigeria for the sake of improving the agricultural chain and having more production, improving the industrial base in Nigeria. Also looking at education by bringing in the student loan. All these are measures that this government has taken, having warned Nigerians that this is going to be a painful change, painful policies, but at the end of the day, you will be rest assured that it is the best thing that will happen to Nigeria to turn things around from the point that this administration met it. Do the Gen Zs not see the efforts that this government is putting in to try to see that Nigerians are on a safe haven and having that kind of cushion while these policies are being rolled out?
Thank you for saying this. Yes, it is the right step at the right direction. But when you have a policy, yes, you might have a good policy, but if it is coming at a very ill time, it is never a bad thing for you to reverse your policy and look inward and make more of engagement to the people complaining, to the masses. Yes, you have all of this in place, but for how long will it take its effects? You know the nation we have, we are very good at blueprints, but when it comes to execution, it's a no thing. That is why the Gen Z and the entire masses are going to be out on the road for the protests, be it maybe if they didn't cushion this effect at the right time. If they go to the streets, I'm seeing likelihood of Kenyan returning back to Nigeria, and it might not be good for the administration. Yes, as you have rightly said again, you have all of this policy, the student loan, the agriculture, the tractors coming in. When are we expecting all of this? When you have removed subsidy, what I expected of a reasonable government is, sorry to have used that word, if I may use the word, is before removing the subsidy, you should have think of the CNG vehicles, all of these agricultural policies that you are putting in place after the hard pains the masses has gone through. Before you get to the legislature, buying yourself a yacht, buying a private jet, all of these are things that takes pains that make people not to believe the administration. And where you bring a policy and people are scared, look inward, talk to them, engage them. What do you think we can do? Then it is only then when you have engaged them, then when they said they want to go on a protest, you know how even going on a protest is their legal right. So far, they are not vandalizing anything. They are not making it a crisis. It is their right to protest, and it is their right to go on strike. Hello?
Nasser, item number 6 and number 7 are really hitting hard on these demands by the Gen Zs, which the first number 6 says that free education from primary all the way to tertiary institutions level. And then the second, number 7, is also talking about some free education and then paying for fees for just about everyone. Do you think these are attainable? Because if the government is struggling to improve salaries of workers, they have increased it by 100%. It was, they get about 35,000 naira before. So now the president has agreed on 70,000 naira, which is twice the amount. Can we look at it relatively, Nasser, and say that free education, which is one of the demands by the Gen Zs, free education for all children from primary to tertiary level, is it attainable at this time?
Basically, I would say free education at this level is not achievable, considering what the economy of the nation is saying at the moment. And having to look at it, education in Nigeria is one of the cheapest. I can say from my research is one of the cheapest in Africa, if not the entire world. I was reading an article on education, on training a medical doctor in Kenya. It takes you like almost 70 million naira to train a medical doctor in Kenya, in any university in Kenya. Whereas the reverse is the case here with average of 10 million naira, even less than in some federal universities, you can train your children to become a medical doctor, even engineering, all the likes. But reality is getting a free education from primary school to the tertiary institution is not attainable. I understand some states has a free education. Most of the states in the West, I think, had free education, maybe from primary to possibly secondary school, where what the parents only pay is on tuition is maybe PTA, which is parent teacher association fee, which is just a token. I think yes, it's not far-fetched from saying you are making a request, but you should look at the realistic and what the economy is saying at this present time, and vis-a-vis compare it to what other nations of the world are talking about education. If you want a good quality education, you don't have them free. I must confess to that. And having to say that minimum wage has been increased for over 100%. Yes, we thank the federal government for doing that, but what is the state government doing? You could I think like 2-3 weeks ago, there was an agitation from the governors forum saying they have to take the lead, they have to champion what they can pay from each of the states. That is a great fallacy, and the government of the day, the federal government, I mean this time around, must stand their ground that all states should pay. Otherwise, they should revert back to the old FAC money they used to have before, and take the subsidy money off them. Maybe possibly they can handle the minimum balance thing from the federal government, from that money that was taken away from them as the subsidy money. Then another thing I would like to do is price control of food commodity in the marketplace. I think some royal fathers, the Oni of Ife, I think another royal father from Ondo, I've forgotten his name about right now. They have talked to their market leaders that they don't want any market association whereby increasing market price, inflating food commodities at interval at which I think what I will expect the federal government to do is giving a price control of each of the food commodities and take perfect control of that. Exchange rates on all of these food commodities, the tax on it should be removed completely at this time around, not by saying you are taking the tax, you are giving a tax vacation of 150 days. It's not applicable. Take whatever on food as tax-free. It is achievable and it is doable.
Will you be going out on August the 1st to protest?
I'm not sure I'll be going out for the protest. I'm not sure.
Because so do you believe now that this protest is largely going to be on social media, not necessarily going out to physically protest as we saw in Kenya?
I'm not sure it's going to be on the social media because the hardship is far-fetched. People are hungry, and I will caution the government of pinpointing some people like they are the financier of the protest. There are even anger within their families. Their anger demands, and nobody is left out on this. Even me, that I'm here, I'm very, very hungry. I'm not happy with what Nigeria has turned to be. Imagine fueling a car averagely now. If you had a week to run here, before we used to have like maybe 15,000 naira to fuel a car. Now 35,000, 40,000 naira cannot fuel a car in a week. And you said you have increased minimum wage to 70,000 naira. For how long will I fuel my car before I get to end of the month? And you don't want
what will be the realistic? I know that they've been touting 300,000 naira as the minimum wage. What would you see as the ideal minimum wage for you?
Ideal minimum wage should be around 200,000 to 250,000.
So if you were to give your support to the Gen Zs that are going out on August the 1st for this protest, nationwide protest, and they are looking at an increase in the salaries also, which seems to be a deal that has already been done, will you advise that they still return to revisit perhaps the minimum wage?
Yes, I will. Yes, I will. And 100% I will support them to revisit those minimum costs. What the legislators and the executive arm of the government earn, they are not critically looked inward to. If they will increase their own salary and they will not legislate over it, they will not take time before they increase it, I think there's no harm in doing the general masses own and giving them what they like. And I think 250,000, 200,000 is going to be a good benchmark, because having to pay imagine, let me create a critical scenario now. You have a ward that is going to pay for WAEC. The same ward is going to pay for NECO examination. Your driver's license has expired. You have to renew your international passports. Which of this is not in? The other day, a friend of mine was arrested for driver's license, and the critical thing he told them was, "How do you expect me to renew this? This is my salary. I cannot do driver's license with or without. I have 32,000 naira to do my driver's license. I have to take care of my family. I have to take care of my immediate needs. I have to go to the office. What is left for me that, and you are giving me a fine of 50,000 naira as fine for not having a driver's license? What is the average minimum wage?" All of this aggravates the hunger of the people. Now you have 70,000 naira. WAEC this year is going for almost 40-something thousand naira. NECO almost the same amount. You have a family to feed. You have the work to go. The work that pays the money, you have there to go. How much are you left with? You are expecting people not to cut costs. You are expecting people to remain faithful. Is that a nation we want to do? Maybe no. But we can be better.
I think that's a good place to let it rest. To Ganiu Nasser, thank you for talking to us from where you are. And to everyone who's been part of this show, we would like you to also check out our other videos. You can subscribe to this channel that will continue to keep you up to speed with developments in Nigeria and across Africa, as we keep our eyeballs very glued to the August the 1st, where this planned nationwide protest is expected to happen. It's dovetailing from the experience in Nairobi, Kenya, where President William Ruto had to change his cabinet just to play to the tune of the youth, who are very, very angry, as Nasser is also angry here. But we just advise that caution be taken, even though it's a protest, just so that we don't derail ourselves into the Libya kind of situation that we have today. Thank you everyone for watching. I am Gimba Umar, and we'll see you next time. Bye for now.